this is Wednesday, and this is Lynn from Madachan's Herbals. It's going to be interesting to see how many people show up today because I did not put an announcement out. I didn't make the event post because time just got out of my hands. Today I thought what we would do is talk about some old-timey medicine called bitters. So bitters were first marketed in like the 1700s, and they were marketed as a remedy for common ailments like digestion irregularities. And they're basically a tincture. They are bitter herbs that are preserved in alcohol. Now, typically when you use these bitter herbs, it is you only use a very little bit, just a couple of drops. So, dependent upon the herbs that you use, as time progressed, they would be used for anything like a stimulant, a proposed treatment for malaria, and today they're used as a drink additive. So if you go to a cocktail bar, oftentimes you'll see bitters on the alcohol shelf for addition to different cocktails. Emerging science now is also talking about the applications of the medicinal herbs, and so it is circling around again to being a medicine. And they are now they're talking about aiding digestive health, curbing sugar cravings, boosting the immune system, and even easing stress. So what we're going to do tonight after we talk about these bitters is we're going to make a bitter for stress relief and for dieting. So sugar cravings and appetite suppressant. So I think that's going to be an interesting thing. We can all try these out. I will once again put the recipes for these two bitters on Facebook. I will actually, I guess I will probably just put it as a post on my regular page, since I can't, or I'll put it on this page. So when the video comes up at the end of this tomorrow morning on that page, I will put the recipes for the stress bitter and the diet bitter. So bitter is one of the 7 basic tastes. Now, I don't know all 7 of them, but there is salty, there is sweet, there is sour, there is bitter. I guess I don't know what the other 3 are. I should probably look that up. It is, our body has receptors that are for bitter compounds in our mouth, our tongue, our stomach, our gut, our liver, and our pancreas. So it can help with diabetes and the control of sugar. It can help with clearing your liver and detoxifying it. It can help possibly with your gut for things like Crohn's or IBS, and it helps our digestion as well. Our bitter receptors are built as a warning to our body, as most dangerous and poisonous things are highly bitter tasting. The stimulation of these bitter receptors promotes healthy digestion by increasing digestive secretions. This leads to better absorption of nutrients, natural detoxification, and thanks to the gut-brain connection, bitters can be used for stress. Bitters are not a primary treatment. They're kind of a health boost that helps the body run more smoothly. So if you do have a problem in any one of these areas, your liver, your gut, your stomach, your pancreas, you need to make sure you're going to the doctor and getting primary care as well. So when your digestion needs a little support, bitters can facilitate stomach acid and acts as a digestive aid. It can ease indigestion, heartburn, nausea, cramping, bloating, and gas. Now each herb, each complaint has different herbs that work for it. So for digestion and gut health, the bitters that you would use are gentian, dandelion, wormwood, and burdock. If you're looking for immune benefits and inflammation, burdock is a very good inflammation fighter and has had positive effects in people with osteoarthritis. It is when you add it to ginger, turmeric, bitters can become an immune boosting powerhouse. The bitters for immune function and inflammation are Oregon grape, barberry, angelica, and chamomile, which kind of surprised me because I don't look at chamomile personally as a bitter. Dandelion is definitely bitter, and angelica is, but I never really thought so much about chamomile being a bitter. You can curb your sugar cravings with the help of bitters. And this helps counter the brain receptors that drive us to consume sweets. Now, sugars come in all shapes and sizes. I mean, obviously candy bars, cakes, those kinds of things have a lot of sugar in it. Noodles change to sugar in your body. Alcohol change to sugar in your body. So if you are trying to diet, if you're trying to slow down your drinking, having this sugar craving bitter, taking it is going to help with helping you move away from alcohol and pastas and breads and as well as desserts. Bitters promote overall healthy eating habits and control over eating. Consuming bitter foods stimulates the production of PPY and GLP-1 hormones, which help control and suppress the appetite. So, bitters for sugar and appetite control would be artichoke leaf, citrus peel, licorice root, gentian. Those are all what we've got. Now these two bags have, this one is stress and this one is sugar, and it has the whole recipe in here. Because there's so many herbs in each one of these that pulling all the herbs up and measuring them in front of you just didn't make sense to me. And so I'll show you what it looks like, and then I will give you the recipe tomorrow, and then you can choose to use it or not. Now, something that is oftentimes used with the bitters are aromatics. Now, aromatics can add flavor, fragrance, sweetness, and balance to the bitters. Some aromatics even come with, again, potent health benefits, such as turmeric, citrus, and lavender. It's going to help the taste, because obviously it's very bitter, and it is, but it also balances what the bitters are doing in your body. So herbs and flowers like mint, sage, lemongrass, peppermint, sorrel, lavender, hibiscus, passion flower, yarrow, rose, milk thistle, and valerian are all aromatics and can be put in. If you are going to create your own recipes, you need to do some research and figure out what is the end result that you're looking for, and then look at the herbs to find out which bitters and also which of the aromatics you want to use. So some of the spices would be cinnamon, cassia, turmeric, cloves, cardamom, chili, fennel, ginger, nutmeg, juniper berries, star anise, vanilla beans, and peppercorns. Vanilla beans are very, very expensive, and I probably would go with something else. Now, in terms of dosing, bitters are very potent, and dosing and frequency will vary on what you're trying to use them for. Generally, a few drops will do. You can just put a couple of drops on your tongue. You can put a couple of drops in another drink sparkling water, regular water, juice, and go ahead and take it that way. If you are trying to use something for appetite suppressant, you're going to probably want to do it before each meal. And you're only doing a couple of drops, and so it's not like you're taking a whole lot of alcohol, and that's going to be a problem. If you are doing something to ease digestive issues, you're going to want to do it either directly before or directly after meals. This is something that basically you're going to have to experiment with and see what it is that works best for you. I will tell you that it's better to start small with any kind of herbs that you're taking, and increase as needed, because while you can always take more, you can never take less. And it is, and I learned that because of nettle. Somebody told me, take a teaspoonful of this. And what I didn't realize, I mean, we're same age, same size, and so I thought, okay, I'll take a teaspoon. What I didn't realize, or didn't remember, is that particular lady mainlined caffeine. I mean, she was constantly drinking caffeine. Nettle is a stimulant. I don't do caffeine, and I don't do any other stimulants. And so when I took the teaspoonful of nettle, holy cow, I have to tell you that I didn't sleep for 2 days. I was buzzing around the house and the shop like I don't know what. And it is, and for 2 days I was sitting there thinking, man, too much. So I do not take a teaspoon. I take, generally, if I'm going to do something like that, I always start out with a half a teaspoon at the most, because I can always decide in half an hour to take more, but you can't take less. It is, it's a learning experience, and once you've done that, you are going to very vividly remember that it's one of those measure twice and cut once kinds of things. Bitters always contain at least two things. It contains the bitter ingredients, so the bitters, and a carrier, which typically is alcohol. You can also add aromatics and spices if you want to do that. That is certainly up to you, and has to do with stress and making it a little bit stronger. Now, you can make bitters with a non-alcoholic carrier. It is, you can use glycerin and water, or you can use apple cider vinegar. The alcohol has a much longer shelf life and will actually last forever. The glycerin and the apple cider vinegar have a much shorter shelf life. So if you're making it with a non-alcohol base, you're going to want to make a smaller amount so that you don't end up throwing it away, because that's not good. So common bittering agents are dandelion root, artichoke leaf, wormwood, burdock, gentian, and angelica root. Basically, aromatics can include any spice, dried fruits, nuts, cocoa or coffee beans, flowers. It's a pretty good, easy way to go. Now, the ratio that you make the bitters with is 1 to 5. So it's 1 part bittering agents to 5 parts alcohol. The alcohol or whatever carrier you choose to use is, if it's alcohol, it needs to be between 80 and 100 proof. If it is less than that, it's not going to pull the medicine out of the herbs. It is, because you're only using a couple of drops, you're not taking much in the line of alcohol. I actually have a friend who is a recovering alcoholic and who is using a tincture for his lungs. And I told him, he says, well, Lynn, he says, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I can't use alcohol. And I said, try it. I said, it's medicine. It doesn't taste like alcohol. And he has come back to me several times saying, wow, you're right. I can take it and I don't, and it doesn't affect me at all in terms of the alcohol in it. He says, but boy, does it make a difference in my lungs. So that is, that's pretty good. So we've made tinctures here before. And basically what we're going to do for the tincture is put the herbs in the bottle, and then we're going to put the alcohol in the bottle, and then we're going to write on the top and of what it is and what we need to, and the date, so that people say that you can use a tincture after 2 weeks, or a bitter after 2 weeks. The longer you leave it in, the longer it, the stronger it gets. Now, if you go to some fancy kind of herbalist, which is clearly not me, I am not a fancy herbalist, what they'll do is after 4 weeks, they will strain the liquid out, throw away or compost the herbs, and then rebottle it into something else. If you are doing a non-alcohol carrier, you absolutely have to do that, because the herbs will get old and start to mold. Alcohol is a preservative, and so if you're using the alcohol, you don't have to do that, because the alcohol will keep the herbs in good shape all along. It is, and so my thought process, and I'm a little bit lazy, so that may have something to do with it, is that the longer the herbs stay in there, the stronger it's going to get. And I don't need to worry about it getting spoiling, because it's not going to spoil. It is, so I have tinctures over here on my counter, which you can't see, that I made in 2017 that still have the herbs in it, and still is every bit as fresh as when I made it. It is, so it's up to you. You know, do you want pretty? Because I will tell you that when I do give the tincture to somebody, I do put it in a smaller bottle and make it pretty. Most of the time, unless you happen to be one of my kids, and then I just hand you the bottle. But it is, for here at home, I just leave it all the way it is. So, like any medicine, some herbs interact with some pre-existing conditions, and also some medicines, pharmaceuticals. And so make sure that you either check with somebody or that you research it to find out if it's something that you should have. If you have high blood pressure, you do not want to be taking a bitter that has rosemary in it, because that's going to raise your blood pressure. If you are taking an antidepressant, you're not going to want to use a bitter that has St. John's wort in it, because it will interact with the antidepressant, and that is not good. So burdock is will have an effect on anticoagulants and diabetes medicines. Dandelion could interfere with the absorption of antibiotics. If you have gallstones, you don't want to take artichoke leaves. Angelica, yarrow, and mugwort should not be used by pregnant women, as it can cause uterine contractions. So these are things that you need to look at. Now we're talking about making the alcohol-based bitter, but you can also eat your bitters. So there are, I mean, if you put some dandelion leaves or dandelion flowers in your salad, if you eat an artichoke, this is introducing bitters into your system, and you can, it won't be as strong, and so you have to eat more than if you were doing the alcohol-based bitter tincture. But it's still an addition to your diet that would help with any medical condition that you have. Other bitters are bitter melon, cranberries, broccoli, arugula, kale, radicchio, endive, so a lot of salad kinds of things. Dark chocolate, which is not a salad kind of thing, and is going to be a real unhappy tummy for me because of that. Dark chocolate has caffeine in it and it doesn't work. So that's kind of bitters. We're going to make, first of all, the stress relief. So in the stress relief, what we have is lavender, valerian root, passion flower, orange peel, and ginger. So I am going to pour that in here and kind of make a mess. Which I really did make a mess. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and add the vodka. My vodka of choice is Kirkland brand vodka. This particular one with the plastic and the red label has been distilled 4 times, and for this size is $18, which is pretty impressive. They also have a Kirkland brand vodka that is distilled 6 times and is in a glass bottle with a gray label, and it's $22. Now that one is actually made by Grey Goose. I do not know if this one is or not, but they're both pretty reasonably tasting vodkas, and a whole lot less expensive than if you go a lot of other places. The people at my Costco, I'm sure, are convinced I'm a total alcoholic because I go there and I buy it, 4 or 5 of them at a time. So this is what it looks like. Now what you're going to want to do is every couple days you're going to want to kind of mix it up a little bit, and we're going to go, this is the stress relief. So I'm going to write stress, and today is 7/15/20. So this is all set and ready to go over on my counter for the next 4 weeks. The dieting and curbing sugar is this one. It helps your sweet tooth craving. It has the researchers have found that consuming bitter foods shuts down the receptors in our brains that drive us to desire and consume sugar. And bitter foods and plants can help slow the absorption of sugar and regulate your blood sugar levels. It helps suppress the appetite and has a positive effect on healthy eating habits and calorie intake. So I think this is one that I'm going to try. So in 4 weeks, we'll see how well it works, and if all of a sudden you come into the shop and see that I've dropped 10 or 15 or 20 pounds, you'll know why. Now this one is, it's got burdock root, dandelion root, orange peel, fennel, juniper berries, and cardamom seeds. It actually smells pretty good. I think that you have the most of the burdock, and then you have an ounce of burdock, you have a half an ounce of dandelion, and then you have a tablespoon of fennel, a tablespoon of juniper berries, a teaspoon of orange peel, and 2 teaspoonfuls of cardamom seeds. Now I will tell you, I'm not sure what it is I smell in here, but whatever it is, I'm liking it. It sure smells good. So I'm kind of excited to taste this one in 4 weeks and see if it tastes as good as it smells. Because this one has more roots and berries in it and fewer leaves and flower buds, it actually was a whole lot easier to pour. So we're going to go ahead and add the vodka. Now, if this is something that you would like to try and make, give me a call and tell me which one you want, and I will put the recipe for you together so it's all in one bag, just like I had, and that'll be just a little bit easier for you. So this one I am just going to write diet and the date, 7/15/20. So I want to leave you with some thoughts. And that is in terms of preparation. In the event we have another crisis, and if it should be a crisis that stops the food supply chain, you need to make sure that if you are taking some kind of medication, that you have a stash of that medication, or you have some herbal substitutes for an emergency. So I have over here, which you can't see, but I have got probably 40 tinctures that are already made in the event I need them. And downstairs in my basement, I have regular dried herbs as well that I can use for teas or salves or something of this nature. It is, if you're on medication, sometimes that medication, there's nothing you can do but take it, and so you want to be prepared. So if you take pharmaceuticals, this is what you need to do, is you need to call your pharmacy and ask them how early you can pick up your next prescription. Now, typically there's a window of 3 to 5 days that you can pick it up. And so if you find out when that is, and then you go to the pharmacy on the very first day that it is available and pick it up, then you have, however, 3 to 5 extra pills. And it is, and if you do that every month, in 6 months, you will have pretty close to a 30-day supply. Now, you don't put those extra 3 aside. You simply keep taking them, and then pretty soon, you'll find, oh, look, I've got an extra whole container of these pills. You want to continue to take them in a timely manner, so you don't want to put that extra container away. You want to take that one and put the next one away. And then when this one's finished, you go get the older one and bring that out and put a new one in. And so you're using it in a timely manner, and it's not sitting there getting old. But as we look at what we need to survive, medicine is very definitely one of those things, and it would be very unfortunate if, because you didn't think about it, you don't have it. So there's my thought to ponder for you today. We will be back on Monday. I think we'll probably have another meatless dinner. If you have some meatless dinner suggestions, send them to me. I didn't do one on Monday because I was totally uninspired. I didn't have any good ideas of what to have, and to be honest with you, I was kind of tired after having camping, and I also thought that you might be tired of seeing me after seeing me 9 days in a row. So we're back on track. The telephone's fixed, so we shouldn't have any problems with connections anymore. Thank you so very much for joining me tonight, and have a great week. I will see you on Monday, and blessed be.